Theories of genre. So, genre is a style or category of art, music, or literature. So, yes, it is a category of artistic, musical, or literary composition characterized by a particular style, form, or content. So, media products can be classified into categories or genre. So, the word genre comes from the French word meaning type or class. So we have here a few genres, which is the horror, comedy, adventure, action, and mystery. So when we say horror, so the key focus of a horror novel, horror film, or horror TV show is to elicit a sense of dread in the reader through frightening images, themes, and situation. So next is comedy. So it consists of discourses or works intended to be humorous or amusing by inducing laughter, especially in theater and etc. Next is adventure. So the adventure genre consists of books where the protagonist goes on an epic journey, either personally or geographically. Next is the action. So it is a genre in which the subject matter is characterized by emphasis on exciting or existing action sequences. So last is the mystery. So it follows a crime like murder or a disappearance from the moment it is committed to the moment it is solved. So they turn the reader into a detective trying to figure out the who, what, when, and how of a particular crime. So we have here the repetition and difference. So Steve Neal had the theory of repetition and difference. So he said genera are instances of repetition and difference. So it means genres exist not only because there is repetition across a number of films, but also because there are differences across a range of films. Next is difference is absolutely essential to the economy of genre. So basically, you either make a film following the stereotypical genres or you may create a film that is unique to most genres and try to create something new and original. So, commenting on Neil's personal view of genre and how it exists, so I have realized that I am already using his perspectives within what I have already achieved. So I found his concept of different in repetition especially fascinating because it implies that the audience is entertained by how films of a common nature relate to each other. So let's move on to the conventions. So conventions are the generally accepted ways of doing something. So genres form by conventions that change over time as new genres are invented and the use of old ones is discontinued. So often works fit into multiple genres by way of borrowing and recombining these conventions. So it means genre conventions are the defining aspects of any genre or subgenre. So these conventions is not only define each specific genre but also the reader's expectation of a story in that genre. So next is intertextuality. So the interrelationship between text, the way that similar or related texts influence, reflect, or differ from each other. So it is a tendency of any genre to possess its own intertextual regularities and patterns. So next is paradigms. So a text is classified in a genre through the identification of key elements which occur in that text and in others of the same genre. So these elements may be referred to as paradigms and range from costume to music to plot points to font. depending on the medium. So audiences recognize these paradigms and bring a set of expectations when watching a piece of film. So paradigm is a pattern of something depending on what genre we are using. So like for example in a horror genre, so the paradigm we will expect would be murder into blood, suspense to jumpy, paranormal, etc. So just like that. So let's move on to the theories of genre in media. So there are multiple theories that have different ideas about the potential of setting genres and limitation. So why is genre theory important? So, understanding genre theory is important because it can help producers and those involved in the film to promote the film to the desired audience. So, we have here the first theorist, Roland Barthes. So, Roland Gerard Barthes, born on November 12, 1915, and died in March 26, 1980. So, he was a French literary theorist, philosopher, linguist, and critic. So he thought that texts are like a ball of tangled strings. You can pull it from any direction or pull anyone, and you will always see things from a different angle of perspective. So he also says that some texts are open, which means you can go at it from multiple angles, or they are closed, meaning there is only one way to interpret it. So next, let's have Jan Fisk. So he defines genres as attempts to structure some order into the wide range of texts and meanings that circulate in our culture for the convenience of both producers and audience. So Fisk mentions that genre is a way of categorizing text in media and prepare audience expectations. So next is Christian Metz. So Metz believes that there are four stages to that happen within a genre and also believes that these stages have a never-ending cycle. So the four stages are the experimental stage, the classic stage, the parody stage, and the deconstruction stage. So the experimental, this is said to be the beginning phases of genre, where the foundations are built and where the genetic codes and conventions are set. So next is classic. So it is where the codes and convention that are set become iconic and idealized as the guidelines for the genre. So the parody, so for this stage, to be successful, the code and convention must be established, widely recognized, and accepted. So last, which is the deconstruction, so it is where the genre starts to evolve and merge with them. So let's have Nicholas Abercrombie. So Nicholas Abercrombie suggests that the boundaries between genres are shifting and becoming more permeable. So Abercrombie says that genres permit the creation and maintenance of a loyal audience which becomes used to seeing programs within a genre. So next is David Buckingham. So traditionally, genres tended to be regarded as fixed forms, but contemporary theory emphasizes that both forms and functions are dynamic. So David Buckingham argues that genre is not simply given by the culture, rather it is in a constant process of negotiation and change. So next is Janet Steiger. So Janet Steiger argues that Hollywood films are never pure genres because most of Hollywood movies blend the love-oriented plot of romance genre with other genres. So John Hartley. So he believed that the same text can belong to different genres in different countries or times. And John thought that genres can restrict the meaning and hold back potential of a text. So overall, John Hartley shows us that texts do not have to adhere to the conventions of their specific genre. So last is Frank McConnell. So he argues that his genres can be applied to any situation in a film where the lead character will fit one of some rules. So he believes in five genres. So first is the king, establishing the state in the epic. Next is the knight, consolidating the state, the adventurous romance. So the pawn, trapped in the institutionalized state, the melodrama. Next is the fool, responding to the madness of state, the satire. Apocalypse, the collapse of a state which leads to a new beginning, no single hero. So his theory is based around the idea that insisted of basing genres on their visual clues, and it is more meaningful to split text according to their themes, plots, and leading character. So that is all with the theories of genres by Eliza Princess Jovel Sinataw.